Hey, this is Holly from hollylynn.com. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to be talking to you about human design and open centers. But before I do, please hit subscribe so you can stay updated on the very many topics we talk about here. Because really, each day is different and you never know what it's going to bring. So, if you don't know what human design is, there's going to be a video right there, a little playlist you can pause and go click on it and then come back. The very brief summary is that human design is like DNA sequencing for your personality. And it's not like a quiz that you take. You enter in some of your birth information and then it kind of spits out this really detailed graph that you will have no idea what it means at all, probably. So anyway, I want to share with you a little bit about what it's like to have undefined and open centers, and to tell you my observation of seeing them at work in the world. It started off with a conversation this morning with a friend of mine who has a defined identity center. So that means that she is real solid in who she is no matter who she's around. Her identity stays basically the same. And she has two sons that have an undefined identity center. And I have a completely open identity center. So what that means is that when her sons and I are around other people, we can take on the flavoring of the identity of the person that we are with. So it's a little bit chameleon-like, and there's pressure for those of us who have an open identity, undefined identity center. There's pressure for us to discover who's going to love us or to know who's going to love us. And there's pressure for those of us with an undefined identity center to know what we're going to do with our life. So when someone asks me, Holly, what do you want to do with your life? I cannot answer that question. When somebody asks, who is Holly? I actually can't answer that question. There are some things that I like fundamentally. You know, I love the water, I like a certain type of music, but in terms of my identity, I can't tell you who I am. I can't speak that to you. I can't put myself, in essence, in that identity box. So, and I'm sure you know people like me who get perhaps their identity tied up with and unhealthily enmeshed with people that aren't good for them. That was certainly my experience as a teenager, and then, as it turns out, later on into adulthood, and about 15 actually plus years of my life. And so what I can say is that knowledge is power. When I was talking with my friend about identity centers today and talking about her sons, and her one son he's a projector and he's in school. It's difficult to navigate through school without knowing that you're actually not here to know who you are and who's going to love you. And other people observing us may get a sense that, we're wondering and we're lost. And it's so unhealthy for us to change and go be like the people that we're with. And listen, again, with any type of empathic ability, the goal is to let that energy pass through you and not let it define you, right? And so, ultimately, I don't become this entirely, totally different person, but I am incredibly adaptable in social situations. So, anyway, it's difficult when you don't know it, because the general perception is that there's something wrong or unhealthy with that person who changes depending on what crowd they're in, that there's something that needs to be fixed. And a lot of us do get caught up in relationships that are completely destructive and unhealthy and damaging to us. So, you have all this other kind of evidence. What I want to say is, for those who know, and maybe you found this video by searching Identity Center, Human Design, and all that. So for those of us who know we have this kind of empathic Identity Center, and we don't have a course that's like plotted out or a plan that's laid out in front of us on where we're going in our life and who we're going to be married to and who's going to take us there, or who's going to go along with us. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with us. In fact, the more that we are aware that we have an open identity center, the more powerful we become. Because when we're aware and when we know what identity is and what it feels like in all of these other people, because it's almost like we get a glimpse of it through other people, we become very skilled at knowing who's really great and solid with their identity and who is really struggling. And so we get to observe these identities and all of these other people, and we get very smart and intelligent about it. So if you yourself have an open identity center, or if you have an undefined identity center, or you are married to someone who is, or you love someone, or you are the parent of someone who has it, just know that it's really important for the person to be aware of it, for you not to ask them questions about what they want to be when they grow up, about who they are, about knowing themselves. And then it's important for you to know that their life may look a little different than yours, and that that's okay. Our joy is being able to show up as we are, being loved by who we're being loved by, and being who we are currently, and really being present with that moment. And that is okay for us. There's nothing wrong with us. And we bring incredible wisdom to the topic of identities. So we're not victims, and awareness is key. All right. Hopefully you have actually more questions after watching this than before, because I love to kind of spur deep thinking. So I would love to hear questions below. And also, if you'd like to talk more about human design, I have some recommendations. I will put that in the description below, and you can click on there and listen and read a little bit more of what I've written about it, as well as get you some resources. So I will talk to you later, and thank you so much.